I often say that a horse is more interested in who you are than what you know. And I say that because what we know can always increase with learning and effort and experience and trial and error. But who we are may not even realize that we need to know more. So, who you are, I think, is much more appealing to the horse than what you know. And for us soul inspired equestrians, a lot of what we know takes place in the unseen. And I often refer to this as between the worlds, between the world of horse and human. And I got that phrase or that idea when I was a child. I was raised in a very evangelistic environment. And this preacher, this hellfire and damnation preacher, came one time and he was preaching, you have to make a choice. You have to serve. You're going to live in God's world or in Satan's world. And you can't live in between the worlds. And I thought, I was about 8, but I actually remember thinking, I was so mesmerized by that phrase, between the worlds. And I just knew instinctively that that is actually where it all happens. Because when we deal in absolutes, it's kind of hard to make change. If we're needing to make some change, it's easier if we have some space and some flexibility and some fluidity. And that phrase has just always stuck with me. So I use it a lot now with horses. And energetically and spiritually, I refer to it as where I go when I meet with my horses, when we have things we need to work through, or when I need grounding, when I need insight, when I need inspiration. And I feel like they meet me there because they understand a little more of the human, a little bit better in that place between the worlds. I think that when we're between the worlds, we have better access to authenticity because our fears and our egos are a little bit behind. Because in between the worlds, we're not trying to prove anything, we're just trying to find common ground and find a way to learn more and to connect and to have greater understanding and to become more aware of the potential between this horse and human and between how we are on our spiritual journey. In the place between the worlds, we're more malleable. We are less attached to our opinions. We're less attached to our past. We're less anchored in being identified as a horse or a human. And we become more fluid and negotiable. And I call this negotiable area between the worlds, I call it malleable intelligence. So there's so much intelligence between horse and human, but if we can learn to become more malleable and work that type of intelligence together to co-create and to come up with a co-intelligence, then we have access to so much more than we have just in the world of human or just in the world of horse. It's where we find common ground. And between the worlds of horse and human, it's where we connect to what I call a mystical faith. It's where we become allies because we're not so attached to outcomes that are particular to horse or to human. And in this space between the worlds, I think the horses look for stability from the humans. They look for more understanding of this two-legged. And as the human, I look for a way to become more wild, to become more instinctual. And that frees me from a lot of my linear thinking. Again, a place to have common ground and know each other without the baggage that we carry as horse and humans. And for me, my horse is a portal to this mystical wisdom. I often refer to it as a place of soulful intelligence, and my horses are what call me there. I think most horse people will agree that horses have this mystical allure about them. There's so many things that aren't defined when you're really in tuned and connected with a horse. And because I need the mystic, I need that place of non of the intangible to where there's more information and more spirit flowing. I believe that that's one of the reasons that I'm so attracted to horses in this lifetime, is because they take me there. And I guess I've always needed that, and I've always known that, so I've always looked for them to be in my life because they bring me to that place of mystical faith, of mystical wisdom, of soulful intelligence. And another thing easier in the place between the worlds of horse and humans is discernment. It's easier to discern what is going on either in our own spirituality, in our own life, or what's going on between us as horse and human. So in our own separate worlds, we may have conflict or challenges. we might have disconnect. And when we meet between the worlds, then it softens some of that resistance, and we're better able to make agreements there that will work for both of us when we're back in our worlds. So there again, malleable intelligence will serve us well between the world of horse and humans. Between the worlds of horse and humans, we expand our understanding, we expand our potential, and we have a better understanding of ourselves. So thanks for joining me on this introduction video to Between the Worlds of Horse and Humans. I'm Delea of True North Equestrians. If you'd like more information, truenorthequestrians.com. Thanks for joining me.